Hey guys, Sak here from SAKITECH, and in today's video we will be doing a full comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra versus the iPhone 12 Pro. And real quick, even though we are using the iPhone 12 Pro in this video, the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max are virtually identical except for that screen size that is larger on the Pro Max. So this comparison equally applies to the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max versus the S20 Ultra. But anyway, both of these smartphones are the current flagship offerings from two of the biggest rivals in the smartphone industry. So people are asking questions, is the iPhone 12 Pro better than the S20 Ultra, or is the S20 Ultra better than the iPhone 12 Pro and the Pro Max? And some people just want to know, just tell me which one is better. And of course, in this video, we're going to do a full side-by-side comparison and get you some precise answers. So let's dive in and start by talking about the build and design. Now, when it comes to the design of these smartphones, there's no question that the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra takes the win. If you look at the phone, it's got tiny bezels on all sides. It's got a small hole cut out on the top that is much less intrusive than that large notch on the iPhone 12. And of course, if you look at the sides of the iPhone 12, the bezels are in fact thicker. If a stranger looks at these phones side by side, they're gonna say this one over here simply looks more futuristic. So I think the frontal design, the win goes to the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now, when we flip the phones over, I will let you know one thing. I am not a fan of the reflective back on the S20 Ultra or the S20 series. I actually prefer the matte finish of the iPhone. This one does not attract any fingerprints. This is going to attract fingerprints, and also the color choices on the S20 series, especially this gray color, I'm not a big fan of. I think the colors that come with the iPhone 12 Pro are in fact better, such as this gold color. Otherwise, the actual design, you can like either one of these guys. It's a subjective choice. But for sure, the frontal design, the win goes to the S20 Ultra. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is the actual build quality. The build quality on the iPhone is going to be slightly better. It does have super tough glass that is even tougher than Gorilla Glass Victus that is being used in the top-end Samsung smartphones. So the glass is going to be more durable, but there is a small problem. It seems that it's not as scratch resistant as the S20 Ultra. So the glass is going to be more durable, but I don't think it's going to be as scratch resistant as the S20 Ultra. Now, when it comes to the side impacts, both phones on the side have stainless steel frame. So this is stainless steel on the side of the S20 Ultra, and also on this phone is also stainless steel, and it's going to be very durable. But the problem is, if you do look at the side profile of the iPhone, the stainless steel is just too shiny, and it is going to riddle with fingerprints unless you put a case on your phone. I do wish they had gone with a matte finish on the side profile of the iPhone, just like they did in the rear of the actual phone. Now, with the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, the sides are shiny as well, but the steel is a little bit smaller, so it doesn't look as bad as the iPhone 12 when they are riddled with fingerprint. Now, beyond that, both phones have IP68 grade water resistance, so both phones will easily survive splashes of water, a rainy day, and of course, both phones have stereo speakers which produce loud and rich noise, which is going to be perfect for listening to any type of media. So to summarize, in the build and design department, both phones are almost equal. The design of the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra, I think, is better from the front, but there's no question that the glass on the iPhone 12 is in fact tougher than even the latest Gorilla Glass 7 known as Victus. So not a huge deal so far. Let's move on and talk about the processor, memory, and storage. Alright, so the iPhone Max sports a powerful A14 Bionic chip with 6 GB of RAM and can be acquired with 120 GB of internal storage. For the base model, the starting price is $1,100. The Galaxy S20 Ultra sports a powerful Snapdragon 865 CPU, 12 GB of RAM, and can be acquired with 128 GB of storage for the base model as well. The starting price for the S20 Ultra is supposed to be $1,400, but almost always you can get it actually cheaper than that, just a little bit over $1,000. And of course, both of these phones do have 5G capability. Now, in the storage race, the S20 does pull ahead. It does have the same 128GB base storage as the iPhone, but it also has a micro SD expansion slot. So if you do run out of space, you can go and purchase extra space and just add it onto your phone. With the iPhone, whatever storage space you buy is what you're going to be stuck at. Now, the next thing I want to talk about has to do with the benchmark. So if we go into the Geekbench benchmarking tool right over here, if I go to the history of these smartphones, okay, I have some recent benchmark scores on both of these guys. And as you can see, the iPhone comes quite ahead. It does have a much more powerful processor. Single core on the S20 is 892. On the iPhone, it's almost double. It's 1605. Multi-core, we have 3228. And on this one, the multi-core score is 4069. So the iPhone certainly produces much more horsepower than the S20 Ultra. And if you do end up editing 4K video on your phone or use any heavy-duty application, you will see the benefit. You can easily edit 4K videos on the iPhone Pro without a hiccup. With the S20 Ultra, if you try to edit 4K videos, you are going to get some lag. It's not going to be too bad, but it's not going to be as smooth as the iPhone. So certainly the iPhone wins in terms of the processing power, but the S20 takes a lead in storage expansion capability. Now let's move on and talk about a very important category, the display. Now the iPhone 12 Pro has a 6.1-inch display. If you get the Pro Max, you get 6.7-inch display. They both use Super Retina XDR displays. The screen resolution is 2532 by 1170 and 460 pixels per inches. And of course, the display supports HDR. The Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra has a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED display with a resolution of 1440 by 3200 and 511 pixels per inches. So it is going to be slightly sharper than the iPhone, and of course it does support HDR as well. Now both of these smartphones have fantastic displays that look stunning from every angle. They're not dull, they're very vibrant, they're sharp, clear, and highly color accurate. So quality wise, I cannot recommend one over the other. However, the S20 Ultra does have one thing that sets it apart. If I go to the settings of this smartphone, and if I go into the display, okay, over here we have an option known as the motion smoothness. So what you can do is you can pick 120 Hz refresh rate or 60 Hz refresh rate. Now this phone is stuck at 60 Hz. 120 Hz gives you much better animations, smoother animations, and smoother scrolling. So if I swipe back and forth on this phone, it just feels as silky as butter. When you switch from here to here, you can quickly tell the difference. I can even feel a little bit lag. Now the animations themselves are smooth, but because the refresh rate is 60, it feels as if there's a lag once you get used to the S20's super smooth scrolling. So that's a big win for the S20 Ultra. Also the fact that it does not have a huge notch that is an obstruction into your viewing experience. So when you are watching movies on the S20 Ultra, actually looks better than the iPhone 12 Pro or the Pro Max. In the display department, I'm going to give the win directly to the S20 Ultra over the iPhone 11 Pro. Now let's move on and talk about the software. Alright, so when it comes to the software, it's basically Android versus iOS. Android is going to be much more customizable. You pinch the screen, you get all these options to customize your home screen to make it 100% yours. Now the iPhone does have widgets now, thanks to iOS 14. You press and hold on the screen, you click on plus, and you have access to a bunch of widgets. But it's not as advanced as on the Android, obviously, because it's brand new. And also you cannot set video wallpapers and stuff like that. If I go over here, I have access to all these video wallpapers, as you can see, and they look gorgeous on the actual screen when I set them. Bottom line, this phone is going to be much more customizable than the iPhone. However, the iPhone does have a benefit. When you go to the App Store in the iPhone, the ecosystem is in fact better than what we have on the Android side. That's not to say Android is bad, But when it comes to optimized games and optimized applications, the iPhone has the better quality overall. Just something to keep in mind if you are an app-driven person. Also with the software, the S20 also offers something known as the DeX functionality that basically allows you to convert this phone into a desktop-like environment on which you can do some work. So basically you go to your DeX, you can do this wirelessly, wired, or via a computer. And then you just pick a TV, you click on it, it's going to connect to the TV wirelessly and give you a desktop-like environment on which you can do anything you want: word processing, spreadsheets, email checking, photo editing, whatever you want to do. iPhone does not have that kind of feature. So when it comes to software flexibility, the S20 Ultra gets a lead. When it comes to app ecosystem, the iPhone in fact gets the lead. Now let's move on and talk about the camera. Alright, so with the cameras, when I flip this phone over, you are going to notice that the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra seems to have a more aggressive setup, and that is in fact true. We do have 4 cameras over here, and then we have 3 cameras. Now the main camera on the S20 Ultra is a 108 megapixel wide-angle camera. Then we have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera, and then we have a 48 megapixel telephoto camera. And then we do have a 4th camera that is not that important. It's simply a depth vision camera. It really is not a big deal. On this side, we have a triple camera setup. We've got an ultra wide, standard wide, and a telephoto camera. All of them are 12 megapixels. So for sure, when you take photos, you are going to be able to get sharper photos with a 108 megapixel camera over here. It also has a more aggressive setup. You are able to zoom in up to 100 times if you so desire. With this one, the maximum limit is 10 times hybrid zoom. This one is 100 times hybrid zoom with the camera that you see at the bottom right here. Now, I will let you know that the cameras are going to give equal satisfaction to any average consumer. One thing that is important to mention is the focusing system on the iPhone is going to be better. We did have some issues with the focusing system on the S20 Ultra in the beginning, but they have now been fixed with a bunch of software updates. Still not on par, I think, with the iPhone, but for the average consumer, no problem. Now, when it comes to video recording, we have some differences. This phone has its benefits, and so does this phone. The benefits on this phone, if I go to the settings over here, let me just go to video, go to settings over here, and you can see that we are in fact able to record up to 8K. This phone cannot do 8K. However, when I go to the settings of this camera, all the way at the bottom over here, camera, we have the ability to record in HDR video with 10-bit high dynamic range, including Dolby Vision. That is crazy. So this one has the 8K, this one has the Dolby Vision option. Everything else is almost the same. We have the same resolutions available here and here. I will let you know, if you are a video guy, if you really want to use your phone for video taking, iPhone is going to give you a slightly better video recording experience. Regardless of the fact that this one has 8K, the overall stability and smoothness of the video recording is better on the iPhone 12 Pro. But the bottom line is, if you're just an average consumer, both of these phones are going to give you a super satisfactory flagship experience. So that's the camera. Let's move on and talk about the actual battery. Now, when it comes to the battery, both of these phones are going to give you a full day of battery life after a full charge. That's not a problem. I will let you know though, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra does offer much faster wired charging. You can charge this phone from 0 to 100 in 1 hour. With this one, from 0 to 100, it takes 1 hour and 45 minutes. So faster charging here. The other thing I want to talk about that's important is when you flip these phones to the back, both of them have a special feature built into the back. This one has the new magnetic MagSafe option. You have this wireless charger that magnetically connects to the phone and charges the phone. Now this one obviously has wireless charging. You can charge this wirelessly on any wireless charger, just like with this one. But this one also has the option to charge accessories on the back of it. So when I put this over here, it's actually going to charge the earbuds if they are chargeable. I can even charge Apple earbuds on the back of this one, but I cannot do the same on the iPhone, okay? I think this feature here is more useful than the MagSafe feature because this is simply wireless charging plus some magnets. Not a big deal. Looks cool, doesn't really give you any extra functionality such as this one. So in the battery department, when it comes to features and faster charging, the S20 Ultra takes the win as well. Now, next thing I want to talk about has to do with biometrics. This one has an in-display fingerprint sensor. So if I lock up the phone, let me just lock it up, double tap to wake it up, we have a fingerprint sensor. Perfect. I love the way that works. It's fast and it does feel very futuristic because it's hiding under the display and you cannot see it. With this one, we have that powerful Face ID system. I just look at the phone, boom, unlocks, I go right inside. The only problem is with this one, even though the technology is amazing, it is not even hidden. It's in this huge notch. This one, again, has that futuristic appeal, but as far as security is concerned, they're both top notch. All right, so we have looked at just about everything. Now let's dive in and do a conclusion based on all the facts that we have looked at. Let's tie it all together. So one thing is for sure, both of these phones offer a lot of value, but one of them does lead in overall features. So let's look at what the advantages of the S20 are over the iPhone. First and foremost, it has an expandable storage option. It does have a more modernized design on the front at least. It offers faster wired charging and faster wireless charging, and also has that wireless power share feature that allows you to charge other devices on the back of it. Another crazy thing with this phone is its aggressive camera setup. So it does give you that 100 times hybrid zoom and 8K video recording if you need them. Finally, one of the most important things, it does have the 120 Hertz refresh rate. On the flip side, the iPhone only gets you one advantage. It does have that powerful processor, and beyond that, it really doesn't have any other advantages when it comes to just feature by feature comparison. But remember, both of these phones are flagship smartphones. They both come with all the basics: water resistance, wireless charging, top-tier multi-camera systems, and top-tier display quality. But if you do compare all the metrics side by side, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra does come out as the more feature-rich smartphone. Hence, it gets the win. The iPhone 12 Pro is an amazing smartphone. It's got amazing video recording capabilities, a perfect ecosystem, but it simply is unable to compete with Samsung smartphones as of now when it comes to feature by feature comparisons. The S20 Ultra gives you more features, and like I said, even though it's expensive on paper, in real life they're both similarly priced. That's $1,000. You can get this a little above $1,000 and sometimes even at $1,000. So that's the final answer. The S20 Ultra is in fact the more feature-rich phone, gets the win in this side-by-side comparison. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop them down below and let me know. And for now, guys, have a fantastic day, all right?